It's February, and we're trying to get our Aliner set up for the coming spring. We've decided that there's some things over the last year. We've had this thing up for a year and a half, almost 2 years. We've been using it on and off, and we found things that didn't work as we've been working. As far as recamping and things that haven't been working out for us. So what we're going to do is, over the next couple of weeks, we're going to do a lot of projects that hopefully make this a little more user friendly for us. Like I say, these projects are something that help us out. It may not work for everybody, but it's what's working for us. We're going to do several things. We'll do a video probably over redoing this table. I made a table that came up and has an arm here that comes up, and we're going to put it on the front and kind of do a fold down. I've got some brackets coming in, but today's project is actually on these Aliner Scout lights. You'll see the way it's set up here. This is the bunk, and you have a door over here, and that door works out pretty good because we have a little porta potty in there that slides in there, and that works out pretty good. Then you have this door here that folds up, and for us that just hasn't worked out really well. It's really hard to get to, and then we've got an empty space over here, and our biggest problem is all these things can be accessed under the bed. You can come up under here and take this wood, but normally with the bed's made up, it's just a pain to get in there. So we're going to completely revamp the way this is done. We're going to put a cargo bin over on this side. This will be another video I'll do, a cargo bin that we can slide 10 by 10 on through the front here. But on this side, we're actually going to I'm going to take this right here that folds up right now, folds up like this. We're going to take that, I'm going to take the hinges off. I'm going to make that into a drawer. That will slide out. It'll be a lot more useful. And then over here on this side, there's a big empty space right here that we're going to convert that into some kind of, that's probably going to be it's a normal door that opens there, and things that you don't access quite as much. But that drawer, we're going to get a lot more use out of that drawer. So stay with me, and we'll show how this gets done over the next couple of hours. I'm going to be working on this. So looking at that area again, I've got the mattress put up here with the wood that goes up on top, and you can kind of see the compartments that we're working with. Like I say, this compartment here works out really well for us, other than I'm going to leave this stuff slid to the front. And like I say, we're going to try to put a 10 by 10 awning that we use, and we're going to cut a door over here. But like I say, that's going to be another video that I do. And so right now our big plan is to take this drawer on the front here, or actually it's a door that folds up. We're going to convert that into a drawer, and so it'll be easier to access all this stuff that we have in here. And we've got towels and things in here, different things. We just want to be able to have better access. So we'll work on that. And first thing we're going to do, I did buy some drawer slides, and we're going to convert this into a drawer front on that front there. And like I say, we're going to make a compartment in here. We have to put a little bit of wood framing in here to hold our drawer slides on each side. And then we'll see how it works as we go. Okay, I've made this board here, and I've got the slides in here. I've used a tongue and groove board. I have a tongue and groove down here, and I measured, make sure I get my measurement right. Okay, so this is my long way, so it goes in like this. And then I cantilever these so they'll go in on the side over here, measured. And so this will go on top here. And I'm going to nail this on here with my nail gun. Okay, 2 nails in there. And I'm gonna go ahead and get this on our mark down here at the end. Temporarily in there for now. That's the problem with screws, is they have a tendency to over torque that a little bit. Alright, so even though this is a structural member somewhat, not too worried because we already have the main structures here for the bed. So I'm just using this to hold my wall in place. These beams here, I end up having my drawer slides that'll come down the side here and attach to these boards that I've got on these ends that I've put. And on here I'll have to put an anchor in here to hold this vertical up in place here. Now what I've also done, and I'm not sure if I'll get to it on this video, but I'm creating a box right here, and I'm going to make a door come in from this side and have a little storage with one shelf, shoe storage on the bottom, and just extra storage on the top. And it'll have a back. That way I leave this section here open to put I'm going to put a 12 by 12 in not 12 by 12, but an 8 by 8 canopy that I'm going to put in here and leave in here all the time. And then I have a screen porch. If we go in somewhere that has a lot of mosquitoes or something, we'll put the screen porch in and slide that one out. It will fit the 10 by 10. It's a little snug, but I won't put that in there unless we know for sure we're going to use it. Sometimes I'll probably just carry it in the car. The main thing is we're getting that whole space back there used. So I'll get back with you in a little bit. So I've got this built out now. Like I say, I've got this wall built here, and I've got a piece put in here. I've added 2 pieces back here and also over here. My plan is to take this section over here and we'll close in the back and put a shelf in there and get a new door in here in the front. But right now I'm concentrating on the drawer. So what I'm done now is got my drawer slides out. These are the European design. They can hold quite a bit, 75 pounds, but we won't need to worry about that much. So what I've done now is I've measured my interior here. It's about 17 inches on both sides. So I have to go a ½ inch smaller on each side to make my drawer. So for a total of an inch. So my drawer is going to be 16 inches wide. Got to figure my depth, and I also have to take this front off. Because I'm going to use this front, I'm going to take the hinges off. And they have that square shank thing, so I've got to go find a wrench for that. I'm going to flip it over because I want that pull on the top. And I'm going to make that the face of my drawer. So I'll go down in my basement and work on the table saw and build me a drawer now. So I'm laying my drawer out. And what I had to do, like I say, I told you, I flipped the handle around this side. I took all the hardware off. I had to flip my measurements around a little bit because there's a ½ inch gap that was at the bottom, which is right here. Then I flipped it over, so it actually had a big gap at the other end, so I had to flip that 1/2 inch down to this end. That way it doesn't hit the floor at the very bottom. So I had to flip my dimensions around. It also had a big tab that was off to one side. It just kind of like it wasn't centered on the cabinet, so I had to flip that around, because if I don't, it's going to hit the other door that's still down there on the other cabinet. Now what I've done here is I bought some glued up pine, and the only reason I did that is a little cheaper. So I want to make a little thinner material, but I really wanted this to be a sturdy drawer. So this is 3/4 inch, just your normal standard stock, and it's been glued up at Lowe's. So this piece was a little cheaper than buying a full solid piece. It actually has three glue up sections, one here and here. And I'm just gonna go to a 10-inch deep drawer now. So I'm gonna go ahead and rip this piece, and then we'll start cutting the long pieces for the actual drawer, the edges, and we'll move from there. So I've got my boards cut. I could do a fancy edge on these corners. I'm just going to use a countersunk and use some just normal drywall screws just to keep it simple. I could get fancy with a special joint, but I think this will be fine for what I want. So what I'm done now is I've marked everything that's going to be down. These are this is the back of the shelf. These are the two sides of the drawer. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set my depth about halfway through the board and actually cut a groove up maybe about a 1/2 inch, maybe a little less, up on each one of these, and make it double thickness and then use that to put my bottom of my drawer in, which is this thin material here. So I need that thickness to be cut into this as a groove halfway through. That way that board will slide into that bottom of that shelf. If you notice, I made several passes with the saw at different levels, and it basically ends up with this debris in here. I'm going to use this chisel here to clean it up a little bit, and like I say, that is the groove that I'll place that bottom of that shelf in this sheet right here. I'll cut, and you'll see I've installed a special drill, and what this is countersinks your screws, and it actually gives you a pilot hole. So this is the edge. We're going to put probably 3 screws in each one, and this is going to be our ends of our drawers, and then this piece will go in the middle. So I'm going to set those up, and then I'll show you how that looks when we get ready to put that drawer together. So you can see how those countersinks work there. It just sinks in, and that way it won't split out any of these ends, and shouldn't have any problems. We'll put 6 bolts or screws together to get the back of our drawer. Okay, if you noticed, I used a nail gun just to go ahead and tack it, just to kind of get it in place, but I need some pretty good sized screws to hold this in place. It worked out pretty good. If you do notice, I did make a little bit of mistake. I drilled these on the wrong side, but it is a camper, and no one will ever see that unless you pull the drawer completely out. So I have some holes there that are extra. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that this groove is cleaned out really good, get a good measurement to slide and then go ahead and cut my bottom of my drawer, cut it and get it slid into place, and then we'll worry about getting it attached to the door front. Okay, you may notice I just took a scrap piece of wood here. I got my dimensions at the bottom, and then I went and got my dimensions at the top. Went and just temporarily stapled that in with the nail gun. And now I've gone ahead and cut my bottom of my drawer. It's 15 inches this way and 15 and a half deep this way. So we're going to see how that fits in there now. Let's see if our best side up. Let's just put these knots down and we'll see how this fits in here. Might have to do some adjusting. We'll see how that works. And I'll do some adjustment on that. I think I might use the little mallet I've got over here to hammer that in place. You want it nice and snug though. So I've got the piece all the way in here. I flipped the drawer over and I actually took I had a piece on the front here, that a scrap piece. I ended up putting it on the other side, that way it'll hold this distance even when I'm trying to attach it to the front of the drawer. So right now I'm putting these rails in, and it just tells me to put them in, and it goes right up against the front of the drawer right here on each side. And I'll probably put in maybe 3 screws on each one of those. So I've gone ahead and put my drawer front on. I was going to put it on with a little heavier stuff, but I just put in 4 brads with the nail gun, and they hide pretty good. You can't really see them in the front. We'll see how that works. And you'll see the way this thing was built. It was really weird because it's like has an inch over here, then has this big flange on this side. It's just the way the drawer was. I guess I could cut it down, but then I'd have to worry about the edging and all that. So I'm just going to leave it oversized, and then when I build my door over here on this side, I'll just have to account for that. But I wish I hadn't scratched this up my last camping trip, but I'm going to end up getting some stain that matches this up pretty good and cleaning that up a little bit. So anyway, we're going to go back up into the camper and put our rails into the camper, and hopefully it all works out. Okay, got my rails installed, 2 screws holding those in. So moment of truth, let's see how this works. Okay, let me show you where we're at. Just about got this part of the project done. This will call it a day on the drawer. We're pretty successful. I did add the hook that keeps it in place. I changed it around from one side to this. That way when you close it, it snaps in. That way that drawer hopefully won't be falling open when you're going down the highway. Drawers fit pretty good. I did a little adjustment on the rails a little bit, but not bad. It's exactly what I was shooting for. Pull this all the way out, and you got access to quite a bit of room in there. When you close it up, it still leaves that extra spot that I'm going to put that 8x8 awning up over in there, and it can fit my 10x10. And like I say, I've added this box in here, put a wall in here, wall here, and that leaves a spot in there. And my next project, or one of my next projects, will be cutting a hole in here and putting a door using the old hinges from this door and making a access to here to where I can put shoes down below, and then other stuff above. I'll put a shelf midway up. So that's about all this project. I did get this on Amazon just a little while ago, so this will be one of my projects coming up. Can't see a whole lot here now, but this is actually some fold down cantilever shelving brackets that I'll use for this table right here, and it's going to come up and fold and snap in place and then fold down and leave me enough gap to let air come through here. I'm going to do away with this post system. So that's about all for this project, and like I say, if I have other projects coming up before I get camping this year, so if you have any more comments or questions about how this project went, let me know in the comments section. And thanks for watching.